This tutorial is going to focus on my favourite preset, and it's my go-to preset for all of my editing, and that is the Light Pastel. So let's just start with this one. I'm just going to bring down the exposure a little bit. For me, that doesn't even need any tweaking to it. This is a preset that has been designed for my editing and my editing style, and it has been designed for the way that I shoot. So I hope that I don't need to tweak it too much with my images. So for the example, this one, all I needed to do was bring down the exposure because it was quite bright, but I just love it how it is. I love all the colours, I love how warm it is. Yeah, for me, that works perfectly. The light pastel works perfectly on that image. If we try it on a sunset scenario, so let's, again here, I'm going to bring down the exposure here for this one. Again, not much needs doing for this. I possibly would warm this one up just ever so slightly, just because I love all of the kind of beigey tones in the image. I might even just increase the contrast a little bit because of the way that the sun's coming right through and it's kind of backlit. You kind of lose a little bit in her hair, so I might just up the contrast, maybe the shadows, and just lower the whites. But again, side by side, I've shot it how I want it edited, and this has been shot primarily for this preset, so there's not a massive jump like you would see on the other videos, but yeah, it looks really good and I'm really pleased with that one. So let's go to a different type of image. Let's have a look. How about this one, which is on the beach? This one, again, maybe just bring down the exposure a little bit, but for me, this is really a one-click preset. It's just perfect. I don't need to do anything to it. I have spent ages tweaking and designing these presets, and this is the one that I primarily use because it just looks good with my shooting style. Again, another one on the beach. For this one particular one, bring it down. I might again warm it up because you've got the warmer tones in the stone. You can get away with this image being a bit warmer. But yeah, I just really love it. Let's do something completely different. Let's go to where you've got a bit of green. Let's see how this looks. So for this one, I'm going to bring down the exposure. Maybe warm it up a little bit because we are in shade here. I just love these girls' dresses, they were so beautiful. I probably could do with just tweaking the whites down again here, but not a drastic change. If you look at the images, it's just a lovely lighter version of the actual image, and we've got some nice kind of warmer tones in their skin compared to here. And let's go to a bit more of let's go to this image, which has a bit more colour in it. Or actually, no, let's go to this one. I'm sorry, I'm switching around now, getting to the end of the day. So if we go to light pastel on this image, the light pastel one is set at high exposure because for some reason these examples aren't great, but I do tend to shoot a lot darker in some of my recent images, so I do like to lighten them up. But so that's why it's set like that. But again, for me, this is a perfect kind of green that I like. I like it to kind of still be a bit vibrant, but also not so vibrant that it's very apparent. You've still got kind of muted tones here. So not a lot of change that needs to be done to this image. I'm just going to show you here. This might be a good example of why I've lightened it. Again, maybe just darken it slightly, but it is designed to be very light and airy. For this particular image, might just tweak it slightly because it's a little green for me. Might just put a little pink tint in, just so you see the pink in the flowers. I might just dull down the greens here, but again, for me, this preset works, and this is why I've kind of spent time editing it and refining it over the years, because I wanted a preset that I could go down every kind of scenario and get a nice image without doing much. If we go to a really greeny one, I'm just going to quickly show, just going to run through them. It's still, I've got lovely warm tones in it. That's what I love about my particular light and airy style, is that I still like to be quite warm with it. I love the light and bright look, but I like to keep it quite warm. Possibly with this one I'd bring the greens down ever so slightly. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I could keep going on, but I think you get the gist of this one. There's not, for me, a lot of tweaking to do other than the exposure, where I have possibly overexposed when I've actually shot the image. For me, this preset is by far the go-to one for my editing. It just, even in, this is an indoor scenario, it just gives me perfect everything that I want from editing. It's warm, it's light and airy, and it just gives it a little pop. I mean, that image, yeah, it just gives it a little bit of a pop. And ultimately, let's just see if I just whack it on here. There's not really much you need to do to get the same tone. If you just see the comparison, if I was to put Cool Earth on, it's much warmer. Sundown is a definitely different tone, and then the White Muted is completely different. But this one, for me, is my go-to, and I love it. So that is the light pastel tone one. That is my go-to preset for pretty much every shot on a wedding day, with minimal tweaking.